I'm doing the demonstration of this TRAX map today on a Garmin Nuvi GPS. Now a lot of people may find it strange that I'm using a Nuvi because they wouldn't consider this an outdoor GPS, and they're right. However, what a great thing to have this beautiful view up on the dash of your truck whenever you're in your outdoors, because wherever you're going, you're normally driving there. So from that standpoint, you can see all the same great information, and you can swap this chip back and forth between your handheld and your automotive Nuvis as well. So to start off with, I'm going to show you the basic features of every TRAX map, and then we'll go into some details on a state-by-state basis. But to start off with, I'm in North Dakota right now, my home state, and I'm out in western North Dakota. You're seeing the very basic features of every TRAX map. So you're seeing your major roads, in this case interstate road, your main U.S. highways, and you're also seeing your public land showing up. You're seeing your major lake showing up at this resolution as well. If I want to, I can just touch the screen wherever there's no public land. It will also tell me what game unit I'm in. Some states call them zones, some places call them units, etc. But that's game unit 4D in North Dakota, so I know if I can shoot a deer in that spot. Also, these green lines here are also my borders of where those zones or units do change. So as I'm looking at this, as I zoom in on the levels, more and more detail begins to appear. In this case now, my railroads have shown up, my smaller streams are showing up, the actual accentuation of the borders of the land are showing up as well, so you know exactly where those public land borders begin and where they end. Now, same way as I found out what hunting unit I'm in, if I don't know what color this land is because I don't know, the key very well, I can just touch that element and it will tell me that's the Little Missouri National Grasslands. Now, grasslands in most states are open to public hunting. The further I zoom in, the more and more detail that does appear. If I go in even further, now my smaller roads are showing up in here. These are my gravel roads, my two-track roads, all that type of information showing up here on my GPS. I can see my points of interest showing up. Here's two different campsites that are showing up on my graph, or up on my GPS, excuse me. In addition, now my smaller lakes are showing up, even my wetlands in the state. Wetlands could be important depending on the type of species or your outdoor activity. If I keep zooming in, when I get to this level of zoom, my topography starts to show up on the GPS. The further I zoom in, the more and more detail my topography gets, eventually getting to a 24K topography. There's a little bit of contour in this area, but not a ton. Now, these areas you see, these lines you see in this dark blue or purple shade, that's my section lines, and this number in the middle is my township range and section number. In this case, Township 138 North, Range 101 West, Section 12. All of these things, lakes, streams, roads, trails, section lines, these are all things standard in every version of a TRAX map. Now, I did not mention trails, but I will go ahead and move over to trails right now. I know this is a national park up here, and I know there are trails in the national park because I know the area well. So as I start zooming in, now this color right here, this light pink color, those are my trails that are showing up on the GPS. Another color you may encounter is this checkered line. It's this red and black checkered. Those are wilderness areas because in certain states, they have special regulations for outdoor activities in wilderness areas. So all these things are showing up on my GPS. The basic elements show up at a quite advanced zoom level as far as being zoomed way back, as far as 8 to 12 miles. But as you notice, the further and further I got in, the more and more information that appeared.